What's up, YouTube? It's Big Rye. We are 114, 102, and 6 against the spread for the season. Let's take a look at the Week 16 picks. Thursday Night Football, New Orleans at the LA Rams. The Saints are 4-9-1 against the spread, 7-7 straight up. The Saints took care of business as moderate favorites over the New York Giants, winning 24-6. Derek Carr went 23 for 28 with 218 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. The Saints defense came up big, putting up 7 sacks on the day with some spicy celebrations to boot. The LA Rams are 8-5-1 against the spread, 7-7 straight up. They were able to beat the Commanders at home by 8. Kyren Williams had 27 carries for 152 yards and 1 touchdown along the ground, adding 5 catches for 3 yards through the air. By doing so, the Rams were able to win the time of possession battle by a 36-24 minute margin. My look-ahead line has this as essentially a pick'em, as you can see. I will be taking the Rams because they are relatively healthy at the moment and have looked like the better team over the past few weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if this opens up closer to Rams -3. So for the contest, I will be taking the Rams as slight dogs on my look-ahead line. Saturday, we have a doubleheader. We'll start off with Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. The Bengals are 6-6-2 against the spread, 8-6 straight up. The Bengals are 3-1 with Jake Browning as their starting quarterback. He continued his strong play on Saturday, going 29 for 42 with 2 touchdowns and an interception. It was enough to lead the Bengals to a 3-point home win over the Minnesota Vikings. Jamar Chase picked up a shoulder injury but is currently day-to-day, so hopefully it doesn't hamper him over the final stretch of the season. The Steelers are 7-7 against the spread and straight up. They are coming off a disappointing 17-point road loss to Gardner Minshew and the Colts. The Steelers had 3 turnovers as well as 4 sacks that really put them behind the 8 ball. My look-ahead line has the Bengals as -3.7 road favorites. I think this line is slightly too high. I could see it settling at Bengals -3 or Bengals -2.5. So I will take the slight edge of Steelers plus 3.7 in the contest. Buffalo at the LA Chargers. The Bills are 6-7-1 against the spread, 8-6 straight up. They are coming off an impressive 21-point home win over the Dallas Cowboys. Josh Allen only threw the ball 15 times for 94 yards. The Bills were able to dominate on the ground, highlighted by James Cook, who put up 179 yards and a touchdown on 25 carries. The LA Chargers are 4-9-1 against the spread and 5-9 straight up. They were embarrassed on Thursday Night Football with a 42-point road loss to Aiden O'Connell and the Las Vegas Raiders. Brandon Staley was rightfully let go after the abysmal performance. Despite the changes to the coaching staff and the management, the rest of this season will be a write-off for the Chargers, who already can't wait until next season. My look-ahead line has the Bills as -4.3 road favorites, but this look-ahead line is going to be way off, with the Bills surging at the right time and the Chargers essentially hanging up their metaphorical cleats for 2023. This is an easy Bills pick for the contest, and I expect the actual opening line to be in the double-digit territory for the Bills as large favorites. On to the Sunday games. Detroit at Minnesota. The Lions are 9-5 against the spread and 10-4 straight up for the season. The Lions had a great home game, winning 42-17 over the Denver Broncos. Jared Goff threw for 5 touchdowns and 278 yards in the win. The Vikings are 7-4-3 against the spread, 7-7 straight up. They fought hard in a 3-point road loss to the Bengals on Saturday. Nick Mullins had his first start in 2 years, throwing for 303 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. I have the Lions as slight favorites, as you can see, -0.7 on my look-ahead line, but I don't think that's enough. I expect the Lions to open as 3, maybe as high as 3.5-point favorites on the road. So for the contest, I will happily take the perceived value of Lions -0.7. The Washington Commanders at the New York Jets. The Commanders are 5-8-1 against the spread, 4-10 straight up. They have been officially eliminated from playoff contention with their 8-point road loss to the LA Rams. Sam Howell was pulled in favor of Jacoby Brissett, who came in and threw for 2 touchdowns and 124 yards with an 80% completion rate. The Jets are 5-8-1 against the spread and 5-9 straight up. They have also been eliminated from playoff contention with their 30-point road loss to the Miami Dolphins. Zach Wilson got the start but went 4 for 11 with 26 yards. He then suffered a concussion and was replaced by Trevor Siemian, who went 14 for 26 with 110 yards and 2 interceptions. The Aaron Rodgers injury really placed a dark cloud over the Jets and their season. The matchup between the Commanders and the Jets is going to be 5-star entertainment because I think this will be a close matchup. My look-ahead line has the Jets as minus 5.7 point favorites, which is way too high, so I will be on the Commanders for the contest at plus 5.7. I expect this line to open closer to Jets minus 2.5. The Green Bay Packers travel to Carolina to take on the Panthers, and the Packers are 7-7 against the spread, 6-8 straight up. They had a disappointing 14-point home loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The game was relatively close, but 2 failed fourth down conversions and a lost fumble cost them in the turnover battle. Jordan Love put up good stats, but ultimately the Packers weren't able to take care of business at home. The Panthers are 3-9-2 against the spread, and they picked up their second win of the year, and they are now 2-12 straight up. They were able to force 2 turnovers against the Falcons and win the time of possession battle 34 minutes to 26. That was enough to get a 2-point home victory over the Atlanta Falcons. Bryce Young went 18 for 24 with 167 yards through the air and 9 yards on the ground to lead Carolina to a come-from-behind victory and their second win of the season. The look-ahead line for this Packers-Panthers matchup is Green Bay minus 3.6. I don't see a ton of value on either side at this look-ahead price. For the contest, I will take the Panthers, who can lose by 3 at home and still get the cover. So for the contest, I have the Panthers at plus 3.6. Cleveland Browns at the Houston Texans. The Cleveland Browns are 9-5 against the spread and straight up, but they are coming off a sloppy, come-from-behind 3-point home win over the Chicago Bears, who almost caught a Hail Mary in the end zone to win the game. The Browns were not able to establish a run, forcing the ball into Joe Flacco's hands, where he went 28 for 44 with 374 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. The Houston Texans were able to come from behind to also win by 3 on the road in their case in overtime, despite not having CJ Stroud at quarterback. Case Keenum got the start. He went 23 for 36 with 229 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception in the win. I have the look-ahead line for this game as Cleveland minus 1.7 on the road as favorites. This line seems spot on, but will obviously be affected if CJ Stroud is able to play. I will be optimistic in Stroud returning and take the Texans as small underdogs at home for the contest. Houston plus 1.7 at home. The Indianapolis Colts travel to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. The Colts are 9-5 against the spread, 8-6 straight up. I believe Gardner Minshew has the most wins among all backup quarterbacks this season. He was able to carry the Colts to a 17-point home win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. He threw for 215 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Falcons are 4-10 against the spread and 6-8 straight up. They're coming off a disappointing 2-point road loss over the Carolina Panthers. The Falcons struggled getting the ball rolling on the ground, combining that with a couple of turnovers, and they were not able to get the expected win over the Carolina Panthers. My look-ahead line for this game has the Falcons as small favorites at home. But for the contest, I will be taking the Colts as small dogs on the road, Indy plus 0.3. Moving on to Seattle at the Tennessee Titans. The Seahawks are 6-1 against the spread, 6-7 straight up. They have yet to play in Week 15, but they are slated to host the Eagles on Monday Night Football tomorrow. The Titans are 6-8 against the spread, 5-9 straight up. They have been eliminated from playoff contention. Will Levis's rookie season has to be considered a success. I bet the Titans fans will be hoping for a strong finish to the season and further progression over the offseason for Levis. Tannehill is scheduled to be a UFA this offseason, so possibly he could play for a quarterback-hungry team or maybe get signed as a veteran backup. On a contender, we'll have to wait and see. My look-ahead line for this game is Tennessee as slight dogs, plus 0.2. For the contest, I will be taking Geno Smith and the Seahawks as slight home or slight road favorites. But keep in mind, Seattle still has to play, so lots could change this opening line between now and then. The Jacksonville Jaguars travel to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. The Jags are 8-5 against the spread and straight up. They are taking on the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday night, so I do not know the result of that game at this time of recording. The Bucs are 9-5 against the spread, 7-7 straight up, and they are coming off an impressive 14-point road victory over the Packers at Lambeau. Baker Mayfield went 22 for 28 with 381 yards and 4 touchdowns. My look-ahead line for this game before the Jags result is Jags -1 as road favorites. Despite how well Tampa's played this season, I will be taking the Jags in the contest at the price of Jacksonville -1. The Dallas Cowboys travel to Miami to take on the Dolphins. The Dallas Cowboys are 9-5 against the spread, 10-4 straight up. They got spanked by the Bills, losing by 21 on the road. The defense wasn't able to stop the run, forcing only 2 punts, 1 sack, and having no turnovers all game. The Dolphins are 9-5 against the spread and 10-4 straight up, same as the Cowboys. They, on the other hand, though, took care of business, beating the Jets by 30 at home without the help of Tyreek Hill, who was ruled out due to an ankle injury. Tyreek has a week to rest up and hopefully get back into the lineup with the Cowboys on deck. My look-ahead line has the Dolphins as slight favorites, -0.9 at home. And for the contest, I will be riding with the Dolphins, who are 6-1 at home, while the Cowboys are only 3-4 on the road. So contest pick, Dolphins -0.9. Arizona at Chicago. The Cardinals are 7-6-1 against the spread, 3-11 straight up. They suffered a 16-point home loss to the vaunted San Francisco 49ers. Kyler Murray went 26 for 39 with 211 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. The Bears are 6-2 against the spread, 5-9 straight up. Justin Fields struggled in the box score, going 19 for 40 with 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions, even though it is a bit misleading because both of those interceptions came on Hail Marys to end each half. My look-ahead line for this game is Bears -6.1, which seems too high in my opinion, so I will take the perceived value and select the Cardinals at +6.1 in the contest. I expect this line to open closer to Bears, probably -4.5. So I will take that perceived value with Cardinals +6.3. Sunday Night Football, New England at Denver. The Patriots are 4-10 against the spread, 3-11 straight up. They lost by 10 at home to the Chiefs despite forcing Patrick Mahomes into 2 interceptions, mostly due to their offense, who struggled to only 206 total yards and 4 yards per play. The Broncos are 5-8-1 against the spread, 7-7 straight up. They lost by 25 on the road to the Detroit Lions. Russell Wilson went 18 for 32 with 223 yards and a touchdown, but the Broncos defense got lit up for 7 yards per play and weren't able to keep Jared Goff and the Lions out of the end zone. My look-ahead line for the Pats-Broncos matchup is Denver -6.1 at home. I think that this is just slightly too many points for Denver. So for the contest, I will be taking the Pats to win or lose by 6 or less. Contest pick, Pats +6.1 on the road. On to the triple header on Monday for Christmas Day, Las Vegas at Kansas City. The Raiders are 7-5-2 against the spread, 6-8 straight up. The Chargers smelled what the Raiders were cooking, or in layman's terms, the Raiders won by 42 at home versus the Chargers. Aiden O'Connell went 20 for 34 with 248 yards and 4 touchdowns. The Raiders' defense and special teams were able to generate 5 turnovers as well. The Chiefs are 7-7 against the spread, 9-5 straight up, and they won by 10 on the road in Foxborough. My look-ahead line for this game is Kansas City -7.3, and I will be taking the Chiefs as large favorites. New York Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Giants are 5-8-1 against the spread, 5-9 straight up. They took an 18-point loss on the road to the New Orleans Saints, giving up 7 sacks in the process and only generating 3.2 yards per play. The Eagles are 6-4-3 against the spread, 10-3 straight up. They play in Seattle on Monday Night Football, so results and injuries haven't been factored into these projected lines. My look-ahead line for this game is Philly -8.7, and I will be taking the Eagles in the contest. On to Monday Night Football, where the Baltimore Ravens traveled to San Francisco to take on the 49ers in a 5-star entertainment game. The Ravens are 8-5 against the spread, 10-3 straight up. They are currently playing on Sunday night against the Jags, so result and injuries haven't been factored in. The 49ers are 8-6 against the spread and 11-3 straight up. They played fundamentally sound football over the Cardinals. Listen to this: 0 sacks given up. They only had to punt twice. They had 1 penalty for 5 yards, no turnovers, and finished the game with 5 touchdowns. That is a recipe to win a lot of games. My look-ahead line for this game is San Fran minus 1.9, and I will be taking the Niners in the contest since this line will open up likely higher than 3, possibly up to 4. So the contest pick in this one is San Fran minus 1.9 on my low look-ahead line. On to the lightning round. Big Ryan, the Fat Guys picks against the spread. We'll start off on Thursday. New Orleans at the LA Rams. I have the Rams plus 0.5. Saturday doubleheader. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh plus 3.7. Buffalo at LAC. Buffalo minus 4.3. On to the Sunday games. Detroit at Minnesota. Detroit minus 0.7. Washington at the New York Jets. I have Washington plus 5.7. Green Bay at Carolina. I've got the Panthers plus 3.6. Cleveland at Houston. I've got the Texans as home dogs plus 1.7. Indy at Atlanta. I've got Indy plus 0.3. Seattle at Tennessee. Seattle minus 0.2. Jacksonville at Tampa Bay. Jacksonville minus 1. Dallas at Miami. Miami minus 0.9. Arizona at Chicago. Arizona plus 6.1. Sunday Night Football, New England at Denver. I've got the Pats plus 6.1. And then Monday's triple header on Christmas Day, Las Vegas at Kansas City. Kansas City minus 7.3. The Giants at Philly. I have Philly minus 8.7. And then Monday Night Football, Baltimore at San Francisco. 5-star entertainment. I've picked the San Francisco 49ers minus 1.9. And congratulations to the Week 15 picks against the spread leaders at the moment, K to the D, as well as one of my personal favorites, Untouchable J. 9, 3, and 2 against the spread. Good for 75%. Congrats, guys, on the excellent week. And then we could see here the Week 15 picks against the spread leaders, the top 10. We've got Untouchable J, K to the D at 9 and 3, CSK, Fat Guy's Best Friend, and Mike J all at 8 wins. Luke Dog, Kids, and everything else it says there, Bravo Billy, Laser Jets, and Hoga Boomer Bust all at 7 and 5. Other than Bravo Billy, who did not take the Thursday game, who is sitting at 7 and 4, so sitting at a nice 63.6%. And then the overall leaderboard is still pretty tight at the top. Mickey, 133 wins. Hoga Boomer Bust at 131. Then there's a slight gap there. Down to Fat Guy's Best Friend, Shiv Picks, CSK, Whoop Dog, Asher, High Roller, Cash Only, No Checks, as well as Detroit One Time. Congrats everyone there. 54.6% or above on picks is an excellent season, so I hope you guys continue that strong play. And it'll be really fun to see if Mickey and Hoga Boomer Bust can finish above that 60% mark for the season. And the JS715 name of the week: don't drink and make picks. I think that's great advice. It's hard to, well, who knows? Everything's essentially 50-50 anyways, so you could drink as much as you want. But I wouldn't recommend it. And remember, guys, you can make your picks against the spread for Week 16 at Big Rye and thefatguy.com. Compete every week. Don't forget to subscribe to Big Rye and the Fat Guy for weekly NFL picks. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a video, and give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. Thank you for tuning in, and good luck with your picks in Week 16.